I'm going out on a limb and I'm going to say what needs to be said because no one has actually said it before. And I checked Google and tried checking the blogs and the internet, and no one has said something that's very obvious, so I'm going to say it first. Christmas is not for black people. Let me repeat what I said. Christmas is not for black people. And I'm going out on a limb and I'm saying this first. And it's not that I want to say it first. It's just that it needs to be said. We should have come to this understanding long ago. It is, let me check the date now. It's December 20th here, 2013, 5 days before Christmas. And I wish I could have said this earlier, a month ago, 2 months ago, years ago. But let me explain why Christmas is not for black people. And also, this is a general statement, mind you. And there's going to be someone, it's always going to be someone like my sister, and I love my sister. But let me explain who is going to come up with a counter argument. It's going to be someone like my sister in her exact same predicament. And I'm saying I love her, but I'm saying you have to understand what kind of predicament she's in. Just like many of you. You come from the same communities. You're in the same predicament. I mean, she is on welfare, public assistance, right? Living off the government, living off taxpayers, living in more or less poverty. And there's going to be someone, one of you out there, you're going to say, okay, Birdy, so are you going to say that Christmas is, what about Michael Jordan? But Michael Jordan has assets of about $400 million, close to $500 million. And having $500 million, even though they're both black, having $500 million is very different from the single poverty-stricken, welfare-stricken mother. So, I'm saying Christmas is not for black people. And that's a very general statement. But in general, 9 times out of 10, perhaps almost 9.7 times out of 10, I'm going to be pretty right with this. If you look at many factors, for example, I don't know where I'm going with this. If you look at home ownership, if you look at the poverty among blacks, if you look at the schools that we have, if you look at the amount of assets in the low-income families, if you look at unemployment, then I'm saying who is actually prepared? Who actually has the savings? Who's ready to retire early? Or better yet, who is actually ready to retire late? Talking like 5 years late. Who can retire at 55? Who can retire at, I hope you can hear that. Let me repeat it. Who can retire at 55? And who can retire at 70? Okay, here, let me go even further. Who can actually retire? Who out there can actually retire? But you can celebrate Christmas. Who believes that you're safe just because you make a little money and your kids are not growing up in poverty, but for some reason you make a little money, but they're growing up around kids that are poverty-stricken or that have a poverty-stricken mentality? And they can relate closest not to the Obama girls, the Obama daughters, but who can they relate to magically? The poverty-stricken children, other poor black children. They can relate to them. Here's another question. Everyone doesn't really want to say what I'm saying, that Christmas is not for black people. So here's another question that I'm going to ask you. Who can actually give their children $20,000? I'm not saying $1 million. I said $20,000 cash. 20,000 to 100,000. I won't even say 100,000. Who can actually give their child, their adult child, when they're about 18, 21, 25, who can give them $20,000 cash when a child is an adult to let them start a business? When they say, hey, I found something that I want to invest in and start my own business. Here's an opportunity that I think is great. Here's a business plan. And here are the things I prepared. I need some capital. Who's actually prepared to give their child $20,000 rather than a lifetime of small gifts. You can get them some Jordans. Merry Christmas, Rudolph the Red. No, you can get them some Jordans on Christmas. You can get them a new phone, and the new Galaxy 3, 4, the Note, the 5S, the iPhone 5S, and you can scan your little fingers so you can log into your phone. Hey, check this out. I got the new iPhone 5S, and it comes with a thumbprint scanner, so instead of pushing the button, I can log in. This is cool, being on poverty. This was my Christmas present. Yeah, you'll get them a game. You'll get them a black Barbie with a wig. I'm pretty sure. I haven't actually seen a black Barbie, but if I had to guess, I would guess that it comes with a wig, because everyone knows that that's what blacks love on women, wigs. But who can actually give their child that? And I'm saying it's time for a change. I grew up on Christmas. I grew up getting all those gifts, but now, why would I repeat that cycle? Why would I say, hey, you know what? I enjoyed my childhood and it was cool getting the gifts, but even though we weren't really prepared for the future, and now I find myself in a difficult situation and predicament, I think it's much better to just worry about today, and then hopefully tomorrow magically will work out, even though, of course, we know it does not work out. Even though when you do not prepare for tomorrow, what happens? Tomorrow comes and you're unprepared. We know that happens for a fact. How do you know? You look at what situation you have right now, today. So you can go get your kids some new toys. Go to Toys R Us, Babies R Us. Run to Walmart, get them the next DVD player or the next electronic. But who's actually thinking about the long term? For some reason, people love to compare themselves to other groups that actually resemble them in no way. So when you see Bill Gates or the average family that's white, Asian, Latino, when you see them celebrate Christmas, when you see that movie, It's a Wonderful Life, you feel like you're a part of it. You feel like, yeah, it is a wonderful life. I'm going to go celebrate because I saw a movie. Can't think of the name of that other one with the black guy, Cedric the Entertainer. I'm pretty sure he was in one of those Christmas movies, which I don't watch because I'm Birdy Tolar. This is the only man that's all about taking down the slave box. That's your friend TV. But I know about this movie because I grew up on TV, like many of you. I grew up on a nice big TV and no actual savings. No preparedness for the future. So, who is actually prepared for that? Yeah, Bill Gates can probably get a helicopter. Why should you feel the need to buy one? Well, because it's Christmas and it's the Christmas season and that's what we do. And I know your questions you're going to come back at me with. So are you saying that I shouldn't get my daughter anything or my son anything? Well, if you want to get them something, why don't you get them a bright future? What about, why don't I just get them a little doll? Are you such an extremist saying that I should not get them a doll? Okay, here, let me ask you a question. Do they even have, and this is going to sound, I hope you're not offended by it, and you probably will be because it's going to hurt you. It's going to hit really low. And this, I bet you, if I went back home right now and I asked this to half my family members, half the people that I could meet in their neighborhoods, if I ask them, if they say, okay, Birdy, what about even like a simple small gift, less than $100? Is that okay? Here's a question I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you, do your kids even have $100 saved for their education? Or for, like I said, starting a business one day, or for learning a trade, or for a rainy day? Do you have even $100? Yet you want to make an argument saying why you should consume on this day where you see other people, other ethnicities and other groups in the U.S. consuming. You believe that you should be a part of that. I mean, black people are sick psychologically. As soon as you give them a little money, they can't wait, gets in our hands, we can't wait to just go throw it away. That's what you do with your free time. Get a little free time where you can use it to better yourself, to build yourself up. Oh, I gotta throw it away. Gotta go watch TV. Got 2 days off. Oh, I just gotta waste it. Can't do anything constructive. I can't build. I don't want power. I don't want economic power. I don't want social standing. I don't want anything. I just need to throw it away as fast as I can. And that's the way we behave with money. You work all year, and as soon as you get just a little, the smallest inch or foothold on the ground, as you don't even get underground, as soon as you lift yourself up, just micro, nano, I mean, I can't think of a small enough unit to say how little we've lifted ourselves up off the ground, if we have at all. But as soon as you get just the smallest iota of progress, what do you have to do? Financial progress, you've got to go throw it away. I can guarantee you, if I went back home, I can guarantee you, if I went and talked to the people in my community growing up, I can guarantee you what I'm going to find, what everyone knows. And that's the thing, everyone knows this, but for some reason, I've got to say it first. Why is that? Why have you made me out to be this person that has to say it first? I shouldn't have had to say this first. I should have come from a group that was saying this long ago, that this is not for us. See, we as black people, we love to celebrate first before an actual victory. We love to celebrate first before an actual victory. We love having the pre-birthday party before the birthday comes. Oh, I'm pre-25. When's your birthday? In 364 days. This is a pre-championship party for winning the 2016 Olympics. In what? In soccer? Really? When was the last time we even cared about soccer? Here's a pre-victory for the first black president. Who's he? Obama, he's biracial. No, he's black. Didn't you know that one white parent and one black parent can make a pure black person? How's that? Because slave law? Or what do you mean? Slave law. You're going to quote slave law as a person to celebrate a biracial president because slave law told you he's black. Yes, I will. I mean, I think that is very strange. We love to celebrate without any actual achievements, without any progress, without actually accomplishing anything. Michael Jordan has a diamond earring. He can afford to. He can afford to have that diamond earring. Can I? Nope. Am I talking down myself? No, I'm saying the truth. This is reality. He can afford the $50,000, however much it costs. He can afford that earring just to walk around, put it in his ear. You don't have to hate yourself. I don't hate myself because I'm admitting, okay, I don't have the money to just blow $50,000 on my earring. But for some reason, we're taught as black people that we should hate that fact and try to deny it and aspire to only try to buy that earring. And so as soon as you get $20,000 or enough to put a down payment on that earring, what do? You ignore your schools. You ignore your community. You ignore home ownership. You ignore your savings. You ignore possible poverty in the future. You ignore the employment environment. You ignore trends that are happening. You ignore pretty much everything that is important. And what do? You take that money, because we've been trained to do that. Anytime we get just the smallest bit of savings. We've been trained to just go spend it, go throw it away. See, let me clarify something. When I'm saying Christmas is not for black people, I don't care if you celebrate with family. Oh, that's cool. Being around family, that's a good thing. But what about, I'm talking about this consuming. See, I didn't grow up around black people that were just like, okay, it's Christmas time, it's just family time, and we don't care about the consumerism. We're just going to be around family because it's a family day. Jesus, praise Allah, Jesus, love Christ. Let's just get together with family. I didn't grow up around that. What did I grow up around? It's Christmas time and it's a family day and we are going to get you what you need. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? I can get it. Oh man. Yeah, as for that new game system, I don't know how we're going to do it. Oh, I don't know how, Lord Jesus. Lord, things are tough, but I want to make sure these kids don't grow up feeling like they didn't have enough and like we weren't able to give them enough materials like other children are given in America. I just want them to feel equal. And Lord Jesus, please, I'm going, and we would say, I used to do this. I used to set myself back like a month and a half trying to participate in Christmas. And then the more people got you, the more you felt like, okay, I've got to keep going with it. This person is getting me a gift. That was like $150. I guess that's the budget. We set budgets before. And you know that this person, they're going to give you a nice gift. So you might as well go back at them. And then you set yourself back how long? Month and a half, 2 months. You feel bad like the week before Christmas. But then you're like, well, I guess it's just about giving. It's just about giving. It's just about giving. If it's just about giving, why don't you give your daughter a scholarship fund? If it's just about giving, why don't you give them some stability? If it's just about giving, why don't you give them a brighter future? No, because it's about giving today. We don't know if tomorrow is promised. Yep, we don't. And every time tomorrow comes, which was not promised, what are we? Unprepared. Why? Because we don't know if it's promised. So let's just spend everything today. Oh, Birdy, you're such an extremist. But isn't that an extremist? Isn't that an extreme? You're always prepared for today. Not even today. You're barely prepared for yesterday. Yet, if I say, hey, let's prepare for tomorrow, they're like, oh, you're an extremist. Let's just focus on today. Aren't you at the opposite extreme? Always prepared for today. See, your way is not working. It does not work. Show me someone that, if I went back home, and I'm from Chicago for anyone listening, if I went back home, you know what you would see? If you just followed me from the airport to 60% of Chicago, the multiculturalism, the blend that we have in the U.S., the blend of first and second world country. That's how we blended multiculturalism. But if you just followed me and I could give you a walking guided tour, I could just show you heaps, droves of people that have what? Nothing. Home ownership? Nope. Wealth? Nope. Power? Nope. Businesses? Nope. Resources? Nope. Savings? Nope. Preparedness for retirement? Nope. Health insurance? Nope. Insurance? Nope. Plans? Nope. What do they have? They've got some Christmas presents though. They've got the newest iPad. They've got the newest pair of shoes. They've got a nice coat, fur coat, diamond ring, earring, wallet, iPad, gift cards to Best Buy. They've got some stuff from the Gap, Old Navy. Do they have anything important? Nah, but who knows? Tomorrow is never promised, and hopefully my daughter is going to be dead before she's an adult, so that my lack of preparedness will kind of, it'll prove that I was right by not preparing for the future, because she was dead anyway before the age of 20. So she would never get to experience the hell that her future is going to be, the servitude that it's going to be. Why? How do we know this? Because if we look at the trend that is happening between the have and the have-nots, the rich and the poor, and also the poor tend to be black and the haves tend to be non-black. If you look at that trend and how it's just getting larger and larger and larger, unless you're waiting on, who's the angel? One of those angels in the Bible. Unless you're waiting on him to come reverse that trend, you should be expecting your children's life to be harder than yours, which many of you are not. That's why you give them an iPad today. So easy to give them a toy helicopter instead of the tools to go start their own helicopter company in the future one day. How many of you actually even have 1,000? Here's what I want you to do. Next time you see a black person on Christmas, if Christmas is about giving, I want you to ask them, and ask yourself this for anyone who's listening. How many of you are prepared to give your children, your grandchildren, a bright future? How many of you? And let me say this now. I will not be celebrating Christmas. I will not be celebrating Christmas. If you ever get me a gift, you know what I'm going to do? Sell it. Take the money. Invest it. Save it for my child. Save it for my family. Save it for an organization. But I will not be consuming. In the future, you know what? And here's my disclaimer. In the future, when I have the assets of Michael Jordan, you know what I'm going to do? Celebrate Christmas. You're going to be like, Birdy, you went back on your word. What? Did I? I said he's the exception. When I become that exception, that's what I'm going to do. I'll go consume if I've got $500 million. Even millions. Once I've got millions, there's a huge gap between the welfare mother and the millionaire, the multi-millionaire. Once I've got my millions, I'm not going to be like, okay, well, I guess I said that years ago Christmas wasn't for black people, even though now I've got mega millions. So even though I've got these mega millions and lots of disposable income and free time and have some few things that I want that I'd like to buy, I guess I've got to stick to my word. Nah, you'll see me consuming. I'll push the GDP up like 3% alone once I've got that. But right now, do I? Nah. But you love comparing yourself. You love comparing yourself to Bill Gates. You're like, Bill Gates did it. He's riding around in a Bentley, so I will too. Are you seriously comparing yourself to Bill Gates? Yep. He wears Armani, so I will too. You're going to wear Armani taking a bus to KFC so you can clock in. Yeah, gotta look nice. I was raised with standards to look nice wherever I go. Well, someone should have raised you to be an owner of your own chicken shack rather than working at KFC wearing an Armani suit. Well, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I don't know how to reach you. Christmas is not for black people. It is not for black people. So I'm calling on all you guys. It is December 20th. Someone had to say it. I'm sorry that it wasn't in Google sooner. I wish it was in there. I wish it was already viral so that I didn't have to come here, make this video, make this show, and say what needs to be said. You want to celebrate before a victory. You can celebrate once we've pulled ourselves out of this socio-economic slump. Not even a slump. This is, as Claude Anderson said, now we're looking at probably a permanent underclass status. So we can celebrate Christmas after we've pulled ourselves out of this position. But before that, you will not find me celebrating Christmas. I'll tell you Merry Christmas. I don't care about that. I'll tell you a lot of words. I'll sing a Christmas carol with you. Maybe. You want a Christmas carol? I'll give you that now. Dashing through the snow on a one-horse open sleigh. Over the hills I go, laughing all the way. Poor blacks. Oh, the welfare moms. They're so funny. The welfare moms, they love their iPads. Oh, the welfare moms. 10 years of buying iPads and they don't even have $1,000 saved for their children. The welfare moms, all the Ralph Lauren they bought. Laughing all the way. Wow. I do not know what is wrong with us. Why do we feel like this is a day for us, by us? You think like Christmas was a FUBU product? You're like, let me go get that new Christmas. It's for us, by us. FUBU. You think this is a product? This is not a product. This is not for us, by us. Christmas is not for us. Let me get that Christmas. I'm gonna buy that new Christmas for us, by us. Black power. What? Black power? I want some economic power. What about that? What about we pool our money? What money? Well, the money that we had before December 25th. It's almost like there's some sort of law. I guess I've got to go consult my uncle. He's a lawyer. There must be some sort of law that I don't know about. There's this law probably that says black people at the end of the year, we've got to go empty our wallets. Any excess cash that we manage to save, we just need to go bankrupt ourselves at the end of the year. It's time to just empty it all. Get the account back down to zero so that we can start the year anew and struggle. Bankruptcy. That's what it is. Bankruptcy day. I will not celebrate bankruptcy day. You've got kids that have an iPad. No medical safety, no insurance. Their schools are lacking. We don't even own our schools. We don't even have our own schools. Your kids are getting drugged up, vaccinated left and right, sterilized, put on ADHD drugs, sent to schools that, you know how, this is what I said before. It's very easy to know that your children's future will be non-existent because they don't even plan on your children learning the language. They won't learn the language. They won't learn their native language because they will not be getting jobs in the future. Nah, I'm saying, yo. Check it out, yo. Shouting, man. They don't plan on your kids getting jobs. They don't even plan on your kids being able to reproduce. They don't plan on your kids having any dignity. That's why if you take, and I hate that I have to be the first one to come out and say this stuff. I'm not the first one, but it's just the people that say it are far and in between. I'm one of the first people that I know. I don't know of anyone else who ever said Christmas is not for black people. But some of the other issues I'm talking about, there are people that say this. Dr. Claude Anderson, Dr. Umar, Tommy Sotomayor, Jason Black. There are people that say this. But they do not plan on your children having a future. Yeah, and I'm saying this and I have to be questioned as to the validity of this. See, if you take a train from Chicago, I love using my references from Chicago because this is proof. Tell me, is this a fact or not? If this is not a fact, this statement that I'm about to say, if this is not a fact, I want you to stop this show. I want you to say that is your opinion, Birdy, and It's okay to have your own opinions, but I will not sit here and listen to you express your opinions as facts. So I'm about to say this is a fact. And if you say that what I'm saying is not a fact, then I want you to stop this show right now. We have a train system in Chicago called the L. If you take this from the north side of Chicago, the first stop is Howard, and you take it, I think it'll probably take you 90 minutes from one end to the other. If you take it through downtown, and then you take it to the south side of Chicago, you'll see a gradual shift in who gets on and who gets off. And during this shift, you're going to notice, although the train stops are different, when you listen to the announcer, he'll say something like, "We are now arriving at 35th Avenue." And that's what you'll hear. But tell me if I'm lying. Tell me he is not saying, "We are now arriving at Decency. This is the last stop for Decency. Anyone wishing to get off Decency should get off here because we are about to leave Decency." And then what happens after that? Tell me I'm lying. Is that not a fact? Is that not a fact? And no one cares about that. What do you care about? You care about going and get the newest Samsung tablet. It's like, ooh, I can draw on it. I can use my fingers to draw, and maybe I'm going to become an artist, even though I'm just going to download Fruit Ninja, cut some fruit, Plants vs. Zombies, Temple Run, play the same small games that I was playing on my iPad that I also couldn't afford, but I got that. But now I want this new Samsung pad because I can touch it with my finger and possibly draw with it. And maybe I was thinking about getting back into art school, even though I don't have savings and my family doesn't have any savings and no one's in a real position to help me out economically, and I'm not really in a position to help myself out. But I guess this pad will help me kind of kill my time and run away from this economic hell that I'm in. I'm just going to participate in Christmas. I've got a little niece. She's probably about 8 years old. I hate that when I talk like this, the first thing people will say is that I must not care about her because I don't want her to have a doll for Christmas. When what I'm saying is I care about my little niece's future. I care about her future. I want her to be able to have decency one day. I don't want her to grow up struggling. I don't want her to grow up alone. I don't want her to have no safety net. I don't want her to constantly live in poverty. I don't want her to think that home ownership is impossible. I don't want her to always feel that she must be a member of a permanent underclass. I don't want her to come from a group that lacks any group power, economic power, that doesn't believe in tomorrow. And when I talk like this, people will say, okay, you don't care about her. Why don't you just get her a gift and let her celebrate Christmas? I care about her future more than I do about if she's able to get a new Barbie doll that actually looks nothing like her. Actually, it looks like her with a wig. I care more about her than her getting a black Barbie with a wig. I care about her future. If you cared about your grandchildren who are actually not born yet, if you cared about, like my niece, how I care about her grandchildren, assuming she'll be able to reproduce one day if she hasn't been sterilized through the vaccines that she'll be receiving throughout her lifetime. If she's able to have grandchildren, I care about them. Why don't you? You care about Christmas. You care about her getting a pad. You care about your nephew's iPad, Samsung pad. You care about getting them some name brand maxi pads. Pads. Everyone gets a pad. Why don't you care about their future? We've been programmed to just hate any savings that we can get. Any cushioning that we can get, we've got to destroy it. This is what we come from, a destructive community. We seek to destroy any institution. Anything that's healthy, we seek to destroy it. Anytime we get savings, we're working to destroy it. We're unhealthy people. We cannot stay like this. We cannot stay believing that we are the equivalent of Michael Jordan and Bill Gates. I'm Birdy Tolar. I'm saying it here now. Christmas is not for black people. If you have not bought the gifts yet, do not do it. Don't be fooled. If you've been fooled like I have for decades, it's time for you to wake up to the realization that this is not for you. It was never for you. You have no business participating in it until you're on par with Michael Jordan. And if and only if, then you can decide. You can make up your mind then. But right now you have no business thinking about this. I'm Birdy Tolar. Get the slave boxes out of your home. Stop celebrating this day that is not for you. Say Merry Christmas, go eat a little food, and go home. Leave it at that. Stop making your oppressors rich. Stop feeding the machine that keeps you in your situation. Merry Christmas.